Buenos días, bon dia, boker tov. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this roundtable on connected mobility and cooperation. First of all, I would like to thank FIRA of Barcelona for this amazing organization and for the opportunity and the invitation of participating in this event. I'm really honored to chair this roundtable. Before introducing our speakers, let me present how we are going to move forward. First, they will share with us their vision and thoughts on mobility. Then we will have a short debate on different topics related to mobility, data, and cooperation. And finally, the moment for you, the moment I think you have been waiting for so long, just to make some questions to our speakers. So, I know you are really excited, but please be patient. So, let me introduce our speakers. First, we have Francisco Berrocal. He's currently Consumer Excellence Director at Toyota. He holds a mechanical engineer master science. He has more than 20 years of experience in different sectors of automotive industry, and he's been working for top companies in this sector, just like Lexus, Chrysler, and Toyota, I think. I'm right. And buenos días, bienvenido. Following one, Carlos Román. He's currently Sales Channel Director at INRIX. INRIX, the global leader on connected cars, service providers related to traffic, navigation, mobility, big data, and so on, with more than 20 years of experience in this field. He holds a PhD on business administration. And finally, last but not least, Shmuelevitz. Shalom, Manishma. He has a very impressive background in the field of math and science and computer science, with more than 25 years of experience in this field. And he's currently Senior Project Manager at Waze, the company that we all know, and I would say that everyone uses every day, almost every day. And so we are currently contemplating how technology is affecting every single aspect of our lives, especially in mobility and transportation system, with the promise mainly through automation and connectivity, with the promise to reduce the negative impacts of road traffic in terms of congestion, accidents and fatalities, and pollution. However, there are so many actors in this field. I mean, industry, telcos, data providers, the service providers, and traffic authorities. How do you envision the future mobility and the role of cooperation? First, Francisco, if you don't mind.
Of course, thank you, Juan. So, from our point of view at Toyota, we have very clear that the consumer is in a tremendous change. So we are living the most challenging moment probably in the industry. And so our current business model and our model has been during all the time based on a kind of a pipeline model where the manufacturer R&D provided cars to some distributors, some dealers, then the customer. And of course the consumer is being impacted by many trends like digitalization, the urbanization, it's becoming more urban. I mean, also about all related with the sharing economy and all related with the eco concern, what is putting that pipeline business model in a challenge, because it's more and more about going from the ownership to the usership, and how Toyota is, or how we see this in the future, is a kind of a shift into a different kind of business model, where it's no longer a pipeline business model, and where it's more a kind of a platform model, where the collaboration between different partners, of course, the product is going to remain relevant for the consumer. I'm not saying the product, and you need to deliver a fantastic good product, but if you want to, what we think is that if you want to keep playing a very relevant role in this new mobility environment, we need to transform our business model more through a collaborative platform model, where public administrations, other partners, other people from other industries, other operators need to play in that marketplace. No, it's very easy to put the typical example of a kind of a platform like Android it is, but maybe more common other examples where the car manufacturers, I think we are going to try to play the role of become relevant in that marketplace through the collaboration between the different partners. We have a huge challenge in terms of changing this business model, because of course we have a lot of legacies. But clearly collaboration will be a key, with different stakeholders, a key element for the coming future.
Thank you, Francisco. And now, Carlos, please.
Thank you for the presentation, Juanjo. Thank you to the organization for inviting INRIX to this interesting roundtable. Well, first of all, I would like to briefly introduce INRIX for those of you who don't know about us. INRIX works with the governments and the car manufacturers in order to improve mobility worldwide. What is our stakeholder role, and what is our place in the technology space? Well, we stand in the intersection of the connected cars and the smart cities and the roads through the collection of different sources of data, different types of data, and making this data useful and actionable to the industry. So how do we do that? Well, we do that basically buying this data to the providers and stakeholders, processing this data in the cloud, applying intelligence or algorithms or analytics to this data, and providing the tools and the different ways to access this data to our clients. So this provides us pretty good perspective of the market. How do we see the future mobility? Well, as you can deduct from the introduction, our vision of the mobility is biased to the data and to the traffic. So we collaborate with other projects in public transport and people mobility, but our core focus is data and traffic. So our vision is similar to the vision that any of you may have if you walk through the stands in this event. I mean, it's a future driven by the big changes happening in the automotive industry, and moving towards autonomous car, connected car, electric car, and shared car. And we in particular see all these new trends as a business opportunity for us. I mean, there are new sensors, new information sources, new needs in the market to interconnect different agents. With regards to the close cooperation, I mean, we cannot understand these new services, this new revolution without close cooperation of all the stakeholders in the industry. I mean, we are here discussing about autonomous car, connected car. This will require integration and data sharing between the car and the series, the roads, the parking facilities. I mean, this is something that is impossible to happen without a close cooperation between the stakeholders, not only in the standard generations, in the framework creation, but also in the building of the services itself. So in our position, we integrate many different sources from quite different stakeholders. And at the end, these stakeholders are clients, are providers, and are partners for us. I mean, we buy data from them, we sell information to them, and we build together the products with them. So we cannot understand the future of mobility without a close cooperation between the stakeholders. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Carlos. And then finally, Ferg, please.
Hello. So we at Waze kind of contemplate what my colleagues have said. Today, Waze is actually trying to combat traffic congestion and actually is utilizing the grids of the road as best as possible so that traffic is distributed. Obviously, autonomous cars are coming, I would say, in the near future. It is starting with semi-autonomous or driver-assisted cars, but we do envision that autonomous cars will arrive. The question is, will that affect traffic and congestion, which is what Waze is looking to resolve? So if today we want to help a driver save 5 minutes, if there are going to be autonomous cars, there might be more cars because instead of just using it as a service, you could have several at your house and just send them where you need them at the time that you need them. So we are actually thinking that one of the important aspects is reducing the number of cars on the road, at least during the time of, I would say, daily commuting in the rush hours. And this is why, at least right now, what we're trying to do is have more passengers in each car, introducing our solution for carpooling, because as we think the less cars there are, obviously the better it's going to be on the road, the safer it's going to be on the road. Obviously, it will enable also to introduce new technologies, whereas cars are talking to the various devices, the stoplights, other cars, etc. But we think that the main issue of mobility is combating congestion. I think that, as my colleague said, data is very important, and in that respect, we are trying to get as much data into the Waze application in order to utilize it to provide the drivers the best and most comprehensive information. And likewise, we are also working with municipalities, DOTs, etc., to pass information in real time so they can utilize it as well. So I can give some ideas that are today done through data. For example, certain municipalities take our data and apply it on traffic light sequencing, and they can actually test it on a daily basis because they get information on a daily basis. I think in the next phase, when the cars will actually communicate, they will be able to do it in real time. There is ability to do fine-tuning and changing everything to fit the traffic patterns. And I think that this is, again, where technology is going to have a big impact on the future of mobility, apart from the car industry, which of course will revolve as well.
Okay, thank you very much. I must admit that you have been very respectful with the time schedule. So I would like to go into the second part of this roundtable, which is a debate. I hope a very interesting one. Mainly in relation, you can open the floor to any subject that you may consider of interest, of course, but this debate will turn around three main topics related to cooperation and data and mobility. The first one is in relation with business models, you have commented about some very small point about business model, and also how you plan to monetize your investments in the future in relation to this new trend in mobility. And then the second one, which strategic alliances do you consider of the most importance in order to achieve this safe, healthy, sustainable mobility in the future? And what obstacles do you foresee in the future to really achieve this mobility? So if you don't mind.
So in terms of the monetization of all these concepts, two things. One, there's no a written book of in a business school that says, you know, this is the P&L and this is how these new services will add profit, in our case, to the car manufacturers. But what we have mostly clear is that it's no longer sales and servicing cars what is going to deliver profit to us. So it's clear that we need to find new sources of profit, but through, of course, the customer convenience. So we are convinced that delivering a good experience and delivering a convenient product for the customer, then that will make a profitable business case. At the end of the day, what we want is to have more clients, more customers, more loyals, and that goes through satisfaction and meet that customer demands. No? What is happening is that the customer demands are changing. And so in the past, it was more related with the product, maybe reliability and, you know, and the experience and how, so it was product plus experience. And now the dimensions and the KPIs that will measure the experience on the consumer are more about how we as brands and car manufacturers and stakeholders in these mobility cooperation kind of platforms are keen to deliver a convenient in two ways. As Fex said about reducing congestion, so at the end of the day, reducing the time that I spent going from A to B. And on the second point, which is delivering an eco-friendly kind of world that is becoming more and more, not just a kind of a, it's not like a concern, but it's more like an asset that if you don't have, you are out of the game. No? That's where, of course, we have a good product, and that's where we need to find the way to monetize that aspects. And as I said, there's no book. So what we are doing, and other car manufacturers that we look for, they're doing is to do initiatives and start doing initiatives to try to build that use cases, to understand how we can make profit, how we can monetize through the improvement of the experience on the consumer. Today, we don't see, I mean, we haven't seen any proper business case because we are changing. And we need to plan for the next 3 months. It's impossible to plan for the next 3 years so far. So that's how we see.
It's an open debate, so you can intervene wherever you want.
Okay, well, regarding business models and monetization of the services, this is a main concern for us and a challenge. The global perception that data is, I won't say free, but at least cheap, or it's becoming a commodity. So there are new players like Waze that they generate huge amount of data, and they don't have the same business models that we have. We have to monetize. I said that on purpose, that we buy data. We have to buy data. Data is not free, but it's really expensive for us and for our competitors. So this is something that we have to monetize, and this is a big challenge for us. This perception in the market. So basically, what we are doing, our strategy is trying to leverage all these new applications, all this new reality, to build additional new and more value-added services. using this new data, these new sensors, and this new connectivity that that all these new technologies are bringing to us. Projects like multimodal services, hyperlocal weather alerts services, smart on-street parking services, etc. And apart from that, apart from the new services, we are trying to find new business models to monetize this, and we are launching application and data as a service models. So basically, we are putting more intelligence in the network, and we are trying to provide to the clients the ability to get rid of the big data, of all the inconveniences of managing this huge amount of data, analyzing that, and we provide the final service as a application as a service or data as a service. So this is our more or less.
So I think indeed we are a bit disruptive, and so I think that from our point of view, because we are crowdsourced, because we are a free app, I would not say we are obviously interested in the business side, and the way we monetize today is advertisement, and now with the carpool, we will take like a service fee, a small service fee. But I think that looking, at how we are actually helping is that we do provide data, we do exchange it, for example, with municipalities and DOTs. But as you said, they need the actual intelligence of taking that data and utilizing it, whether it is, like I said, with the traffic light or traffic congestion, or getting new ideas about how they can use it to reduce double parking or improve sending emergency services. So we are disruptive in a sense that we are doing it without really looking to monetize it. But I think that we are providing the ability for others to monetize it based on those services. I think that we will need to look in the future for additional revenues. Advertisement works very well for us, and we don't have any plans to deviate from that. We will have to see how carpooling is working. And I think that also once there is the connected and autonomous cars, we will be probably connecting to the car, and then there will be opportunities there to see how perhaps things can be monetized.
Okay, thank you. And entering into the second question about alliances or partnerships, I think maybe at the end of this roundtable you can partner for the future. But I don't know. So how did you, please, proceed. How did you see the cooperation?
So I mean, we are cooperating today with municipalities, DOTs, broadcaster, anybody that's interested in our data, because we get back, in case of broadcaster, we get exposure. In case of municipalities and DOTs, we get information on planned activities. We are very good in real-time information, but we get information about future events. With the car industry, I think that now that we are looking to be inside the car, there are all kind of potential cooperations from being connected to the actual car internals and understanding, where the simple things like when fuel is running out and then sending you to a gas station. If there's windshield wipers that are working, then there's rain and you can warn other drivers. Things like that, which at least today are being done by the application. So in that sense, we're looking to partner with anybody that has other working technologies, information about maybe ambulances that are coming that we don't have, but maybe an application that's connected to the, again, emergency services, and then we warn the drivers around. So this, I think, data exchange environment is something that we are interested in. We are looking to how we can cooperate.
Thank you. Please.
Well, indeed. I mean, but I think that one of the things that in our role of car manufacturers we need to understand, and it's hard for a car manufacturer to understand, and particularly it's even harder if you are the number one, is that that maybe there are some things that where you are not the trendsetter for certain things, no? And I think that the alliance with other partners and or public transportation or people like Waze or Coyote, as it is in our case, or with INRIX or whoever, it's becoming a must. So you can fight against it. We can try to, and many car manufacturers we have done. We have tried to replicate Waze in creating an app or a software or whatever where we thought the customer or our customers will have similar kind of functionalities. But at the end of the day, the king is the customer, and he decides to go to the service that is more convenient, again, to him. So I would say that there's no other way that moves, as I said at the beginning, from this pipeline business, protective, and so on, to a more collaborative environment, and it is happening indeed. No? In our case, for example, we have created a company called Toyota Connected. It's based in Japan and United States. That it's indeed part of his role is try to find these partnerships with suppliers or other company we have, which is called the Toyota Mobility Foundation, that is in charge of more related with the public administrations on how to support the people on reduced congestion and so on. So indeed it's happening because we know that it's no longer a kind of pipeline protective business.
Regarding the alliances in the industry, of course, as we explained, this is the future in mobility will imply big alliances between all the stakeholders, basically, as I say, in order to define the standards, define the frameworks, and build the services. But if I had to point out one strategic alliance that they will have to conduct, all the stakeholders are maybe two of them. It's, I mean, all this stuff is generating huge amount of connectivity, huge amount of data traffic. So for us, telco companies and big IT companies are going to play an important role in the future. Recently, I read a report from Deloitte where they state that in 2020, the traffic data generated by these new mobility use cases in US will be 9% of the total wireless data traffic. 9%. This is huge, of the whole data traffic in US in 3 years. So I think that telco companies will play an important role in enabling all these framework, all this infrastructure, plus the big IT companies. So we are quite a small company in order to build such environment. It's all about infrastructure deployment. It's about connectivity and data. So and the challenges are really huge. So
just relating to what Francisco said, I think that we at Waze try to focus on driver like a universal problem. Whereas obviously Toyota is looking at Toyota owners, which obviously you know better than us. We do not. We're kind of antagonistic to the type of car because we're interested in the driver. I think this is where we need to think how this can be an advantage for both. So obviously us to be in the car, and obviously Toyota, so that they can also leverage this with their potential car owners. I don't have a solution for that, but I think this is one of the challenges.
It's absolutely true. I mean, indeed it's more difficult for us because we're coming from strong infrastructures and systems for manufacturing. I mean, we are very good on that. We are the best on that. And we are very good on data related with the supply and these kind of things. But it's also a huge challenge for us to change those legacies, not only in systems, I mean on architectural or telcos cooperation and so on, but even in mindset, no, in terms of the sensitivity of the related topic. But hopefully, it's as I said, hopefully it's happening. And there are huge, and one of the things is that when we move very fast. No, as a Japanese company, we are slow in taking the decision, but when we move, we go really fast and with determination. And it is indeed happening because there's no other way. I mean, we are talking about to become the relevant player, or we are now, let's say, depending on where you look the numbers, number one or number two in terms of sales and production. And we, of course, want to remain the first car manufacturer in the world in terms of mobility. So we need to face that kind of challenge and circumstances. Absolutely.
Yes, well, it leads us to the other point that you mentioned is the hurdles, the obstacles. So I think the big obstacle is one of the key elements in all this. One of the key stakeholders is the public sector. So we have been discussing in the backstage about that. We have been telling of Juanjo. So because the different speed that we follow in the private companies and the public administration being a key stakeholder. So we recognize that they are extremely fast in detecting the opportunity and the need and the technology, but they are extremely slow in the internal bureaucracy to put these projects in place. So for the private industry, 1 year is the long term, and 4 years is an eternity. So in some cases, from the first call from European project or public tender to the moment that it has been launched, it's passed in some cases three years. So this for us is killing us. So this is one of the main hurdles of the companies like ours face.
Well, just as a reflection, as a public administration, we are trying and starting to change our mentality, because indeed we actually have a mentality of the last century, and then we have to change it into a very new one with a flexible and open mindset. So just to allow technology to evolve, just to be part of this evolution and not an obstacle.
It's not in the mentality. I think that you are, as I said, you are fast in detecting the opportunity, and where you need to go is the internal bureaucracy and all the burdens that you find in this way to get there. So in some cases, the car industry is more old-fashioned in their mindset rather than the public, a road administration, for example. So because they manufacture cars, and it's very difficult to keep them out of this mindset. So this is not in the mentality, but rather in the internal bureaucracy. That is something we have to live with.
Any other comment on obstacles or?
So, going to the third subject of obstacles, I think there are going to be a couple. You touched base, both of you on the issue of the industry moving not as fast as the application store, which is our kind of domain where we measure things, where we can make a mistake and correct it within 2 days, which is something that obviously other industries simply cannot do. I think that one of the challenges or obstacles might be the regulation. I had a conversation here, and I understood that one of the reasons that Spain and Catalonia can serve for autonomous cars testing in Europe is because they didn't sign some agreement in the 1950 where you had to have 2 hands on the car wheel, the steering wheel. And that all the rest of the European countries are obliged to this convention, and so they are now stuck when they want to introduce autonomous cars. So I think that the issue of regulation, the change in the mindset of the car industry and folks that deal with data and things like that is one thing. To change government, to change bureaucracy, to open for new opportunities, it's going to be very hard to make it on a large scale. And obviously, if tomorrow, Catalonia has autonomous cars on all freeways, once you go outside, or once you go to Madrid, or once you go to France, and they don't support it, you're stuck. So I think that has somehow to be changed on a global basis. I'm not sure how that can be done, but this is where companies like Tesla that are doing a sort of autonomous driving, let's say Uber again, in another aspect are changing. It's simply coming from the field of technology, coming from the innovation side, and more or less forcing the governments and regulators to change. Hopefully it's going to be fast enough, otherwise it simply can, stop technology and stop things from happening.
Yeah, fully agree. That big obstacle is the regulation. For a car manufacturer, you can imagine how difficult it is Europe in that aspect. So if you go to from a Japanese car manufacturer, that Japan is a very big market, one language, one regulation, one thing. US is a very big market with one regulation. China, and suddenly you go to Europe, and as you said, even inside Europe, you have different regulation for different developments and it's quite a nightmare. So that's a very big risk in the development of the R&D and the development of autonomous car or whatever other source of mobility means. So I agree. Regulation is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, I will have to put some light on the reflection. Indeed, regulation. Well, I wouldn't say only regulation, but within European Union, I mean. But the risks that we are currently facing and of suffering some kind of fragmentation within European Union. So it will undoubtedly will impact the competitiveness of our European Union in relation to China or Japan or United States. Absolutely, I agree on that. So that's one of the reasons that we are, Spain, pushing hard at the European Union level, but also at UNEC in relation to this with respect to these both conventions on road traffic. And well, hopefully we will achieve some amazing results within 6 months or so. I hope to get.
Yeah, well, I fully agree that from our experience, one of the examples is the data privacy that is becoming. We are finding data privacy as one of the hurdles that we are finding more and more frequently in the European Union that is supposed to have at least a common framework on that. We are seeing different implementations. We have seen, for example, agencies in Europe where it's forbidden to provide origin destination information to them because they are not allowed to use this information, despite this information is anonymous and is aggregated and is the base for any traffic model. To build that, you need this type of reports, this type of information. They go beyond the law and they forbid this type of information. So data privacy is a good example of what you were explaining of different applications of the law within Europe.
So I think the issue of privacy, that's what you refer to, is going to be again, part of regulation. So if I opt in and I say, okay, you can connect an application, whether it is Waze or INRIX, to the car, and obviously there are rules and regulations as to what you can do with the data, how you can keep it, how long you keep it, how you aggregate it, how you anonymize it. I think it should be fairly simple, but again, there is a fear that, or not a fear, but a certain scenario whereas, you know, the regulation might halt, might stop such things, and then obviously, you know, it's not the best service to the customer, to the user. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's okay. So I think more or less we have ended up the debate, and now we are coming. Thank you very much for your very impressive and interesting comments and opinions. And now we are coming into the final part of this session. Your turn, your opportunity, your time. Please raise your hands and please intervene, make some question. I have no doubt that you have so many questions, not only after hearing today these speakers, but also probably yesterday when you are dining or having a drink. Then I have to ask tomorrow, Feb, wherever. No, not to me. This is just a reflection. So please. No question?
Here, it works. Okay, thank you very much. Miriam Lazar from Ibeco. My question is, during these days we are talking about the new mobility system we are dreaming, so working how the vehicle and the infrastructure should be ready to help us. But the question is, we are thinking even to reduce the number of transfer, so not only the zero emission, the zero traffic, the zero incident, but to know what is the reason for the transfer. I mean, if we are working in parallel with social regulations in order to regroup or reduce some transfer couldn't be necessary. For example, teleworking or another kind of regulation. Even could be a key players in this new mobility design, some players to take in consideration. What is your opinion, please?
Okay, thank you. So, anyone?
Yeah, well, I think that is one of the cases that I explained with the new business model. So basically, if you need to find further than the data, and you are looking for the reasons for commuting, or so you need to delve further into the analytics, and you will need additional layers of information, not only positioning or location-based information, but also social and local dynamics of every single city, of every single country. So absolutely, this is key for understanding the patterns of mobility and its evolution in the future. And you will need to build analytics on the top of the basic data. So yes, this is one of the new business models that we.
Are you already working with these third parties?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. And any other question? No? Okay.
Hi, hello, my name is Pedro. I work for an innovation consultant firm. I would like to ask about carpooling. I know that it's on the hype, data is making it a bit feasible, but is people really willing to take a step and jump into other people's cars?
Carpooling, I guess, it refers to me. So it's a process. It's a process because there's an issue of educating people. But there are examples where it works. For example, in Europe, you have BlaBlaCar, and I think that we are trying to look at it from a bit of a different perspective. And this is why we are experimenting and looking to see how it succeeds. So we have already examples, I talked about it briefly yesterday, of people that took over 300 rides as riders with various drivers. And we have several that made more than 100. So it's a process. Even Waze, in the beginning, we had 2,000 users and then 17,000 users and then several hundreds. It's a process and it takes time. I think at the end of the day, people will accept it. If the service is reliable, if the service is cheap, if the experience, the personal experience is good, I think there will be an adaptation. It might vary from market to market. Just like Waze, certain markets we succeed very much. Certain markets, for example, like Japan, we do not catch. So I think it's going to be an issue of a culture. But yes, at the end of the day, I do believe that it will succeed.
What we see regarding that is a shorten of the time of adoption of these new models. So that it's been amazingly shortened, and the reason that I hear in our company and all the reports is because of the new generation, what the Americans call the millennials. They are much more willing to adopt these new models. There's fresh consumers of these new models. So I think that this time has been shortened, and this adoption is the people is more willing to that. And according to the report I have read, the reason is because of these new generations more willing to adopt these new models.
More questions? You still have 7 minutes. No more question? I can't believe it. But, well, are you sure? Well, I will before ending this roundtable, I will ask our speakers to get up, please. I would like to highlight 3 different opinions that I have liked the most from Toyota. Ownership to usership and cooperation is becoming or will become a must. From INRIX, the importance of on the key role that the telco and IT companies will play in this field of the new mobility. And Waze, apart from we are a bit disruptive, I love that word, data exchange is key. But I would like to take the opportunity to ask you all to give us a very short reflection idea, just to keep in our mind for the future, just as a, let's say, a trending topic. So please.
Good point. I mean, if I have to summarize in one tweet, I would say we will keep moving people to a better world. So this is our vision. Try to extend, even as similar to the question that she made about mobility. So it's the extended mobility where, to be honest, we didn't yet investigate further, but we want to remain as the best player in moving people to a better world. It is in this better world where we will improve our current legacies and mindsets and system model to become whatever is relevant and convenient for the customer. So we will do.
Gracias, Francisco.
Well, maybe for us is the importance of the data, how this data is collected, the new sources of data, and the new ways of managing this data to make it useful to the industry. So we think that we are in the age of managing this big data to provide good insights to the industry. So. That's my main take on.
Gracias.
And for us, the user is king. So I mean, we will try to provide the best service. Obviously, we will do our best to adapt and do it quickly once we recognize potential technologies or industries or opportunities that arise. But at the end of the day, the idea is to give the best service to the specific group that we serve, which is the drivers. Obviously, with autonomous cars, a lot of the drivers might be riders because the car will not necessitate a driver. And this is part of the shift that we are doing also with carpool, where we are now having a new type of usage, which is not only a driver, but the rider itself. And going forward, we definitely, again, will have to adapt to things that we can't even imagine today that exist.
So, Toda, thank you. Well, we are at the end of the roundtable, so thank you very much to everyone for coming in, for attending this event, and obviously, thank you to our speakers for the time, for sharing their very interesting opinions and vision, and for the very valuable knowledge they have presented here today. So, thank you.